just going to make him talk.
Okay. The Clarksville-Montgomery County School Board is now in session. Would you stand, please stand as we do the Pledge of Allegiance and have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Mr. Nolan, do we have any public conversation?
There are no requests to speak tonight.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to go forth with the approval of the consent agenda. Do we have a motion? Moved by Mr. Patterson, second by Ms. Berry. Are there any readiness? Seeing none, discussion is now closed. Please open the vote. Are all voting members satisfied with their vote? Please close the vote. Vote 6-0 carries. The next item on the agenda is the policy monitoring. Dr. Luna.
Board, please find in your board packet information on Executive Limitation 6, Asset Protection. This executive limitation has 8 compliance expectations to ensure the Director of Schools shall not allow assets of the district to be inadequately maintained, inappropriately used, or unnecessarily risked, recognizing budgetary limitations. Specifically, a complete property appraisal and valuation and inventory of school system assets is completed each year. Additionally, employees handling material amounts of funds will be bonded. A preventative maintenance program is in place for all facilities, vehicles, and where appropriate, equipment. Property maintenance of equipment is an integral part of the employee training and industry-specific professional development. Adequate professional liability insurance, as indicated in your board packet, is in place to protect the district board and staff. Furthermore, all purchases will follow purchasing procedures outlined by state law and local administrative policies. Security measures are in place to ensure protection of district information and intellectual property. In conclusion, the most recent audit conducted by the State Comptroller's Office resulted in financial statements being in accordance with accepted accounting principles, and there were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies identified. District decisions are data informed using a team approach that filters individual and collective actions in light of impact on improving student achievement. Chairman Garland, this concludes information on Executive Limitation 6.
We have heard the presentation on the Executive Limitation 6. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, please open the vote. Oh, excuse me. Do we have a motion to accept the Mr. Nelson motion, Mr. Aber, Aaron Mayberry, a second. Please open the vote.
Mr. Griffith's not here, so that's the only one not voting.
I didn't see the 6. Okay. All members satisfied with their vote? Please close the vote. This is new. We have 6 no. Y'all have to forgive me tonight. I'm trying to learn in this stuff. The vote carries 6-0. The next item on the agenda is EL7, Emergency Director of School. Dr. Luna?
Board, please find in your packet Executive Limitation 7, Emergency Superintendent Succession. This executive limitation has one compliance expectation: to protect the board from sudden loss of director of schools. No fewer than 3 other executives must be familiar with the issues and processes. 4 CMCSS executives have been designated to handle district business: the Chief Human Resource Officer, the Chief of Staff, Chief Communications Officer, and Chief Academic Officer. Mr. Garland, that concludes the information on EL 7 for this evening.
Okay, we have presentation of EL 7. Do we have a motion to accept? Ms. Pace? Second, Ms. Berry. Are there any discussion? Seeing none, please open the vote. Are all voting members satisfied with your vote? Please close the vote. It passed 6-0. Thank you. The next item is reports, Summer Intervention Program, Dr. Luna.
Yes, I would like to welcome up Dr. Kimmy Saharsky this evening. She is going to tell us all about what has been occurring in summer programming this year. Even though school has been closed, we have kept very busy. Dr. Saharsky.
Glorious evening. As you know, we have a multitude of summer programs that go on. Some are legislated, and then we provide additional opportunities in the summer to help our students pursue interest or additional learning that they may need. The Tennessee Code Annotated is about the K through rising ninth grader students that are struggling in reading, and that we provide them the opportunity to develop their reading skills. They do reading and math and science each day. The third graders that are in the program, these are the third graders that aren't meeting the proficiency requirement on the state ELA test. They are held to a 90% requirement of attendance. They do a pre and post test. Some of the tests that are used are the ones that they did at the end of the school year, but they're provided an opportunity if they were absent to go ahead and get a pre-test, and then they go through the program and do a post-test, and the data is collected. We provide them with snacks and a lunch each day. So first piece I'm going to go over is the high school summer programs that we have. We have programs that provide high school students remain on track with their cohorts. So if you're struggling in class, failed a credit, you have that opportunity to make those up. We also provide opportunities to build skills that you may need as you're moving on. We also run academies in the summer to pursue interests around all the college and career academies that we have. We have 8 of those. We provide breakfast and lunch, and there's transportation. So some of the camps that we provide is the agriculture camp that's out at Montgomery Central. We have the Academy Create Academy, and that is at Rossview. We have the CETA Academy, and this one is held at Northeast High School around coding. We have the Metacamp at Northwest High School for students to stay on track and pursue some interests that they have with the medical professions. We have the Camp Engineer, the STEM Camp, a STEM Academy that is held at Kenwood High School. And this year we held them at Kenwood Middle because we were doing work at the high school. And we have the Aviation Camp that was at, they held it at the airfield, but it belongs to the West Creek High School, has that academy. Very exciting opportunities were provided for them. Junior Executive Camp, that was at Kirkwood High School this year, where they're putting the Logistics Academy. We also hold STEM camps throughout the summer for children to have that opportunity to explore creative design and engineering pursuits. Camp Invention, which is going on right now, explores, that's the elementary program, and they have a summer learning camp. So we not only do we have a standalone camp for that, but we provide components of it to the regular camps that we do the summer learning. We have robotics, and it's in its 9th year being held. Cyber Patriot Opportunities is in its 3rd year. This year, we're working with the Boys and Girls Club of Middle Tennessee, and we provided a coding camp at Kenwood Middle School. These were all students from Montgomery County who were provided the opportunity to participate either in the elementary coding camp, a middle school coding camp, and a high school coding camp. And it was a lot of fun. The children did a lot of designing. It was really exciting for them to be in the program. Then we have extended school year programs. These are for our students with disability that require that continuous, ongoing learning and opportunities as they navigate their learning. IEP teams make the decisions about these opportunities, and they will run through next week. They run until about 10 days before school starts to give that continuity of about learning and services. We have an English learner camp. That's for all the students that are identified as EL and those that are struggling in obtaining academic language that is necessary to be successful in school. So we provide a very small, hands-on personalized learning opportunity throughout the summer. We have an eligibility requirement is based on a test that they take throughout the school year called Access. You'll hear a lot about it in the news. And this test tells us where they are in their acquisition of language. This year, on Saturday, we're holding the Back to School Block Party event at Kenwood High School, and it's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. It's going to be a very exciting event. I hope you get the opportunity to stop by and participate in that. And then this is just to give you an overview of the number of students that have been navigating our programs and participating. So the elementary programs, there were over 1,400 students. 579 of those are 3rd grade students that were participating to meet the legislation requirements. Middle school summer learning programs, we had 780. The high school summer learning programs, there were approximately 1,300, and STEM and Academy Camp programs, we had approximately 540 students participating in these programs. Questions?
Mr. Mayberry?
Just to give you a heads up, if you could get our packet updated, there's a couple slides missing. I just want to make sure I have all the data in there. So, like that slide's not on our packet. Just a couple others. So.
Which one?
In our packet.
Oh, they should be in the packet.
Yeah, we just get that updated. That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Berry?
When those 3rd graders have to go to summer school, what level of proficiency do they have to meet, or do they just have to attend?
That's a fabulous question. So the state of Tennessee sets the requirement, and it's based on proficiency on the state assessment, the TCAP assessment. So they'll have to meet that, but there's something called adequate growth when they move into the 4th grade. So if you don't meet it in the 3rd grade, we continue to provide you supports if you met the other requirements. You went to the camp, you made the effort, met the attendance, participated in the activities, and the post-test still says you're struggling, then we provide you the opportunity to continue with supports. And in the 4th grade, the new target becomes something called adequate growth. Adequate growth means I'm making forward momentum to such an extent that by the time I hit high school, I should be proficient enough to do well on something called the ACT.
Thank you.
Ms. Pace? Ms. Pace?
The Back to School Block Party at Kenwood High School, is that only for students in that school district, or is that countywide?
Anybody who would like to come is welcome to come and participate. They just happen to hold it there because it's a very nice location.
Yeah, central, yeah. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? We'd like to thank you for your presentation.
Yes, sir.
The next item is board discussion and consideration of student discipline appeal. Attorney Nolan?
Yes, Board, on the agenda tonight, you have a student appeal. I'll remind the board that should you wish to discuss that, do not identify the student by name or by school. With all student appeals, I also remind the board, if there is no action taken by the board, then the decision of the director is affirmed. Should you want to vote to modify the decision of the director in a downward way, you could do that, but you must do that by vote. Should you want to modify the decision of the director for the student discipline in an upward way, then you would have to grant the student a full appeal and a hearing before the board. So with those parameters that are set forth in the student code of conduct, are there any motions to be made regarding this student appeal? All right. Thank you. Then the decision of the director is affirmed.
Thank you, sir. Comments from the Fort Campbell School Liaison Officer?
Good evening, Dr. Lunavetter, board members, and commissioner. My name is Karen Watkins-Juve, and I'm one of the school liaisons from Fort Campbell. And we are getting our calendars and our schedules prepared for this upcoming school year. And my colleague, Ms. Garrett, is working diligently, working to make our Partner in Education initiative with the soldiers in the schools run smooth this year. They were very, very busy. And we want to thank you all for allowing us to be of service in your schools. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. CMCEA representative?
Good evening. The beginning of the school year is almost upon us, and as excited as educators are to set up their rooms, meet their students, and see colleagues again, it can be a frustrating and hectic time. I would like to ask for grace for educators during these busy first few weeks. We are trying to learn students' names, learn their accommodations, begin building those much-needed relationships, create lessons that adapt to the needs of students that we barely even know, and help our new colleagues in the process. It can be an overwhelming time for not just new educators, but for our veteran educators as well. So grace is much appreciated. I also want to add this disclaimer before we get back in the classroom. Social media can be harsh on educators. It is difficult for educators to defend themselves from negative posts or comments due to student privacy and maintaining the highest professional conduct expected of CMCSS employees. Navigating the public forum is an added stress on educators, and having the support of administrators and CMCSS is very much appreciated. I'm looking forward to the 24-25 school year, and CMCEA is ready to work with you to keep CMCSS the best place to work in Clarksville-Montgomery County. And I also want to add that I went to Engage. It was my first Engage session this morning, and the vibe there is absolutely wonderful. I mean, everybody's so welcoming, and the band and all of that. It was absolutely fabulous. So fabulous, I'm going to go back tomorrow. I was already signed up for a class, but I'm going anyway.
Thank you so much. Pat representative, PET representative.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Linda Vetter, County Commissioners. I have nothing prepared tonight except that I hope everyone stayed cool today because I melted in several places, just saying. If you remember back in August of last year, of course, we're almost there and we're starting again. I asked you don't forget to sit at the warriors table because those teachers are warriors and they have different conversations than others. And since new teacher orientation is coming up in about 2 weeks, I'll be there. The last orientation was in June. Those new teachers have some very intense questions. They are very, very interested in how the system works and just getting involved in the district. So just letting you know, you've got about 400 new teachers coming at you in about 2 weeks. So be prepared to answer questions. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you, ma'am. County Commissioners, do you have any questions? Comments? No, sir. Thank you. Board members? Mr. Patterson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to get into Dr. Linovetter's notes maybe. I hadn't been looking at your notes, but I wanted to thank you and Mr. Taylor and I guess Mr. Renault for the job y'all have done with the our budget this year, understanding that it was approved last night, and I certainly appreciate all of your hard work.
Ms. Berry?
Of course, I love to talk about being kind. And Princess Diana, when she lived, she said that you should carry out random acts of kindness as often as possible, expecting no reward. And it should be safe. And one day you may just be blessed with an act of kindness. I just want to share with you one day, I find myself trying to do acts of kindness every day. But one day I started out and I went to Publix to get a fruit basket for a family that had lost a student. And Roberta knows me well because that's what I do as an outreach. And I took a container I had, and he said, I can't use that, Miss Berry. You know I can't. Well, guess what he did? He said, but I can put the fruit in another basket, then you can transfer it over to the container you have. And he said, and you don't have to pay for it. I thought, I will pay for it. He said, you will not. So I thanked him and carried it to the family. And then later that day, I went to a store. And I had been looking at this peacock for my summer home in Alabama. I have a peacock room. And I'm standing in the line with this peacock in my basket. And this lady, I don't know her, and she said, she handed the cashier $60. The thing cost about $49 plus tax. But anyway, I said, you can't do that. And she said, yes, I can. And she paid for my peacock. Then I left there, and I had another event that happened to me. But just to say that when you do acts of kindness to others, I promise you it will come back to you when you least expect it. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. I would like to thank the county commissioners for your support of the district. You know, across the state of Tennessee, you don't have the level, a lot of districts don't have the level of support that we have here in Clarksville-Montgomery County. And I think that that is one of the reasons why we can do the things that we do, and the teachers and the staff can actually operate at the level that they operate. I am proud to be one of your board members. And as right now, I'm your most senior board members. And I can say that proudly because I turned 75 last Friday. But I just thank God for allowing me to see just another year. But you know, some of my friends didn't see 30. But God has blessed me to see 75. So I just thank God for that. Dr. Luna, it's in your hands.
Good evening, board members. Today, senior leadership, board members, and elected officials had the privilege of touring our newest school, Kirkwood Elementary. The building is 95% complete, with final touches being added. Furniture is being assembled, and pending some successful last-minute inspections, we are optimistic that administrators and teachers will begin moving in next week. We are so excited to show off the culminating building of the Kirkwood complex, and we welcome all the baby Cobras on their first half day of school on August 7th. In other positive news, as mentioned, the County Commission did pass the 24-25 school budget last evening in their special called session. As someone who attended those budget committee meetings and most of the County Commission meetings, I do want to extend a huge thank you to the mayor and all of the commissioners. In a reappraisal year especially, the monumental task of presenting and passing a balanced budget is multiplied exponentially. I was thoroughly impressed throughout the entire process of the thoughtfulness that went into making decisions, the professionalism, and the resiliency of the commissioners to power through and pass that budget last evening. It's not an easy job, but I do want to thank all of you for your support and for serving. As mentioned, the Back to School Bash is this Saturday night, 5 to 7 at the Kenwood Complex. All CMCSS families are welcome. We will have free backpacks, school supplies, shoes. We have 7 barbers coming in for haircuts, food, games, and we want to ensure every student feels their best and feels ready as they start their school year. Mr. Garland, this report it concludes my report for the evening.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.